Listen to the vibes.
The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes, and I'm very privileged to have Mr. Seth Miller here with me. He is an accountability coach. He has a couple of podcasts and also an author. So we're going to get to know him and have a great conversation and hopefully can inspire some of you out there. So Seth, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, okay. Well, look, thank you first for having me on. I do appreciate this and this opportunity and saying hello to your guests. So a little bit about me. Let's see. Boy, I'm originally from Detroit, the east side of Detroit. And at the ripe age of 18, I decided to enlist in the United States Air Force. And within that time frame, I've had a lot of ups and downs, more ups than downs, but it gave me the opportunity to see things differently. So I realized that we can have all that we want in life, right? And we can have anything. We just can't have everything. And so the things that I did require or want to require or to utilize or to gain, it took a level of accountability, personal accountability, and also too, expectation management. And that was the biggest pivotal point in my life. And so later on throughout this conversation, we will talk about those, the ebbs and flows. But ultimately now, after retiring, after 21 years, I have given myself the opportunity to continue to serve just outside of the uniform and just help individuals unwrap their own gifts.
Well, first off, thank you for your service. We are working with a veterans group advocating for those that are needing like medical care or mental health care, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I want to kind of give a shout out to those folks that are helping me with that. Also, are you a Detroit Lions fan?
I am.
So you're built to endure.
That's what the resilience come from, right? That's right.
Well, I was a fan when Wayne Fontenot was there and kind of dropped off after that.
Yeah. People, sometimes it's the individuals that we are inspired, right? To say, okay, this is going to be the year, right? With Stafford, or this is going to be the year. And so he's gone with the Rams. So just have to find something else to hold on to.
I tried, man. I really tried.
I get it.
But anyway, I wanted to kind of talk about your podcast. So you said you had a couple of them?
Yes, I do. And consequently, the first podcast is called The Lion's Den with Seth. And it's myself and other individuals that were in the military, and actually a couple are still in active duty Air Force. And it started with just one microphone. Or no, take that back. It started with just us communicating in my basement and just talking about leadership, development, being fathers, right? Being husbands. And then I had the bright idea, you know what? We should record this. And this was, let's see, next week will be 3 years. So before the pandemic, before all of this. And we got one microphone, all right, and found a way that we can all huddle around the microphone and just have transparent conversation. And then we all invested in individual microphones. And so it grew from that to a all blown out brick and mortar. I was renting out a space, brick and mortar podcast. And then it grew into a studio audience once a week. People would come and just listen to us. And then all of a sudden, here come COVID. So we've been, we were not hybrid, but virtual the whole time. And now we're slowly gravitating into hybrid. So half in and half out. And so that's the first podcast. The other podcast is called Healed with Seth, the speaker. And that's just myself. Conversations, some are just monologues, me communicating to the audience and just giving inspiring thoughts and tools and tips to help navigate through the hells of life. And then there are some conversations with other individuals that are able to communicate the things that they have been through, currently going through, but to leave some words of encouragement and inspiration for individuals that are tuning in.
That's a definite that we need nowadays. There's so much negativity going on. We need that positivity, and people do need to be accountable for what they do.
Absolutely.
I was an alcoholic for, gosh, what, 30 some odd years,
Mm.
and drug addict.
Mhm.
I didn't do right by my family. My kids are successful in spite of their father.
Mhm. Right.
But I always blamed all that on, I got molested when I was a kid, and my father wasn't exactly the greatest father in the world. All these excuses that I came up with to keep drinking and doing the drugs, and I didn't take accountability for what I was doing to my kids or to my
Mhm.
family in general. I got divorced and spent 10 years trying to find myself again, and hallelujah, I'm no longer an alcoholic or drug addict. And
Congratulations.
I am a Dr. Pepper Zero addict, though.
There you go. Different vice, but it's okay.
It seems when you look at social media and all the other stuff that goes on in the world, nobody wants to take accountability. And
Absolutely.
what about those fathers out there that they were like me? You would rather go out and party and hang with friends than instead of being a father.
Yeah,
Too much of that going on.
it is.
So what made you decide to talk about those things?
Well, just actually based off of what you said and finding the common ground. So I'm a true believer that we're in the same building, different floors. Okay. And so if I'm dealing with something, chances are I'm not the only one that's dealing with that. Now, if I'm listening to individuals, and I mean truly, truly have an open ear and heart and mind to hear what individuals are saying, we share the same type of pain. So maybe through connecting, communicating, and just communing, we can see different lights, right? See different ways to maneuver out of that. But then when we're talking about men, there's a lack of not just accountability, there's a lack of masculine love there,
Thank you.
right?
Exactly.
There's a lack of love saying, hey, I love you, and it's non-sexual, but what it
Mhm.
is I understand that you are hurting, and hurting is universal. I'm not here. I do not have the tools to judge you, nor to condemn you. That's not my job. Okay. I
Exactly.
got other things to do. I got 99 problems, and yours aren't one of mine, you see. But how do I have a transparent conversation and create the space that you feel heard? Then, if I'm giving you that space to be heard, maybe you will give me that space and opportunity to give you something different, a different perspective, right?
Hmm.
That's non judgmental, non threatening. But then you can also say, wait a minute, I can try that. It's not going to hurt. Hey, what do I have to lose?
Hmm.
That's all. And so I think that when it comes down to the Lions Den, it's a group of us, and every once in a while we have a guest on. Actually, more times than not, we have guests on, and we talk about all things either within a household, and to outside of the community. But when it comes down to the healed process, it's more of the individual. So you cannot go anywhere to change your environment if you don't change your mindset.
Definitely.
And that's what, that's why I have two different, I guess, stems of conversation, but it's coming from the same vein.
Well, when it comes to men, it's very confusing during these times, and it's very conflicting during these times because,
Yes.
number one, it seems like the world's against men for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. But two, being a man, you're raised to toughen up and
Mhm.
take it, and you know what I mean. And when your guy is going through things that he can't really handle, he really needs someone to talk to.
Yes.
But then, he's being told, don't show your feelings, don't cry, and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I actually had a guest on where we talked about men coming out and getting therapy and the help that they need, even though you've got that, like you said, mindset of no, you're supposed to be tough. How do you deal with those folks that maybe are a little reluctant to come out?
I'll tell you this, brother. Full transparency, I'm not a religious person. Okay, I'm really not. However, I do have let's say, a working relationship with God. And so there are certain scriptures that just make sense. And there's a scripture, and forgive me for not knowing the actual the passage, or as far as how to find it, but it says, you don't cast your pearls to swine. Okay. So essentially, we have to understand that our feelings, our thoughts, our visions are considered pearls because it's valuable to us. But it's our responsibility not to communicate to individuals that cannot pick up what we're putting down, because they will show us how they feel about the things that we say. But then after they show us that, who is the fool that keeps going in this direction? We need to stop it and communicate with our tribe. You have to vibe with your tribe. Not everyone is a part of your definiteness of purpose, you see. But the thing is, sometimes, according to our mindset, there's individuals that we communicate with because we know, like, and trust them. However, what we don't incorporate in that triad, if you will, is that it's conditional. I know a person based off of this place in my life when I was in middle school. I like this person because of what they did when I was down and out. I know this person, or I trust this person because of what they have done in a specific situation. But what we do is we don't compartmentalize those individuals. We clump them all in our life and moving forward. And that's the disconnect, because we expect individuals to treat us a specific way when they're not built, or they're not ready, or they mainly just don't have the molecular structure to do that. So we have to take a step back and say, wait a minute, I'm talking to the wrong person about this. Maybe I need to talk to this person about this and not this person. Understand, I can have a good time with Jim, Bob, Harry, Susie, whatever. I can have a good time with them. However, when I'm dealing with my mental health, I already know how they view a man sharing his feelings. I already know their view of a man crying. So why am I still going here when they don't understand that I need to let this out? Because one or two things are going to happen. We're either going to explode, right?
Yeah.
Or we're going to implode by doing something damaging to ourselves, or exploding, like I said earlier, and hurting someone that has nothing to do with the root issue. So we have to be cognizant of where we direct our energy.
Oh, I got you there, because I've got friends I can sit and talk about football all day long.
Right.
But when it comes to, it took me 30 years nearly before I finally spoke to someone about getting molested as a child.
See?
It took me, like you said, it's like an explosion, I guess.
Yes.
Ended up just kind of locked in a closet, curled up on the floor, trying to hide from everybody, and couldn't take it anymore. And it's
Correct.
weird how it took all those years before it finally surfaced again. I guess you suppressed that stuff for so long, and then finally it's just like, got to get it out.
Correct.
But I get you. We need to have people that we can lean on. We got to talk, because
Yes.
a man's mental health is just as valuable as a woman's.
Absolutely. And with women, they're more communal than we are. If you
Mhm.
think about, there's a lot of women's groups, there's a lot of empowerment seminars, a lot of different excursions that women do together, right? Because they are, it's easy for them to share their emotions. It's not as easy for us to do that. So we have to look and search and truly be deliberate in finding those individuals. It's not readily available, it is not. So going back to your original question, the reason why I started the Lion's Den and or Healed is because I don't see those things that are out there that's readily available. Because if it was, in my opinion, it wouldn't be a over abundance of society or social media attacking men that just want to survive. You know what I mean? And just be men. And that's not a toxic thing, but when you are communicating with the wrong group, they will say it's toxic.
My God, I'm so sick of hearing that
See?
term.
Yeah.
Just because you want to go hunting or fishing
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
toxic.
Yeah. Toxic masculinity is horrible. It's horrible. And so individuals demonize that which they don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And it's human nature. But what it is, it's a lack of accountability, because we will have to ask ourselves, wait a minute, why do I feel that way about this person that did not do anything to me? So what is it about them that's disrupting me? That's what people try to avoid. And when they avoid that, everything is an attack. See? Or they feel like they have to defend themselves.
Yeah. It's weird. When I was growing up, especially during the 70s, it was like there was still a divide between us. There was a lack of communication. And then as the years went on, it seems like that communication opened up and we all were getting along. And now it's like we're going in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of these live and let live. You do your thing, I do my thing. You need some help, I'll help you, and hopefully you'll help me.
Right.
Why are we falling apart?
I can say, just from my perspective, I believe by and large, individuals are, instead of learning, they're being taught.
Mm.
And so there is a reluctantness to do their own research, right? Find their own why. Okay. And if you don't do that, you're going to be subject to just listening and then regurgitating things that you may not even agree with. You see, and that happens. For example, the TV, right? For the television, though that's listening, they may know this, some may not, but the television, it operates in beta waves, meaning that even if you're not paying attention, wide awake attention to it, the sounds are still connecting to your subconscious, right? And so subconsciously you start to hear things or understand things, even though your whole body, your moral compass does not agree with. But we don't hold ourselves accountable by A, cutting off the tube, B, changing the television, or C, saying, wait a minute, this is crap. This is not in line with my values or my morals. So this is what I believe happens. Individuals make excuses for other individuals' actions. But when it comes down to them, they use other people as analogies, if you will, as to why they're doing the things that they're doing. For example, just making excuses. I'm doing this because of they. You see, if you're always pointing, but don't see all the fingers pointing back at you, that's a problem. You see, so the way I handle that is I listen. So within my book, The Black Collar Mindset, The Art of Strategic Thinking, I have a acronym in there that says is WAIT, okay? WAIT. Why am I talking? When I'm listening to individuals, they will tell you their intentions. They will tell you what they're truly worried about, what they're afraid of, or what they're dealing with. So when I hear those things, I can make a decision right then and there. Do I have to respond?
That's
Do
true.
I need to let them know how what they said is wrong in my eyes? Or to your point, can I just let them live and go on about their business? I choose that, because if I don't, I am around the way picking up their crap,
True.
right? And I'm putting their crap in my pocket. You see? Now I'm walking around more emotionally heavier because I have subscribed to a person's thought process that has nothing to do with me.
That's true. Well,
Oh,
to your point of, leaving the TV on and you still hear it. I've always been that, like I said, live and let live kind of person.
mhm,
And I don't care what you do in the bedroom. I don't
mhm.
care what you do behind closed doors. It ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
But yet they want to make it their business.
Mhm,
And when just put it this way, I don't respond to it,
mhm.
but a lot of people will respond to it. They may say, hey, I don't care what you do. I don't agree with it, but you do what you want to do. Well, they automatically take it that you're against them. So
Right.
you get called the homophobe, the transphobe, and
Mhm.
every other name under the sun. You already know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you you just kind of forget, not listen to it. But
Mhm.
after a while, it does start to kind of weigh on you. He's like, look, why you keep calling me all these things? I am not this kind of person. As soon as you say you're not, they're going to say, oh, that you say that because you are
That's why.
one.
Okay. So, and I got what you were getting to, and I changed it. I went a different way. So I apologize for
Oh,
that.
no, no, no,
So,
no, no, go.
so I need to really clarify something. This has been going on for, I would say, the last 4 to 5 years. And if you look at it on a strategic view,
Mm-hmm.
there's something else that's behind it. What's behind it is money and its power. Okay. Money and power equals influence.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have the money, I have the power to push a narrative out that's in line with my agenda. Now, I also have the influence to box you in if you do not agree with what I'm saying. So therefore, now you're going to be more, I would say you'll be more focused on defending yourself instead of seeing what's really going on. For those out there that heard the term weapons of mass distraction, that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's just a distraction. And so every time we feed into it, regardless of what people call us, let me tell you something. Okay, your name is Kyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How many times will it take for me to call you Bob before you say that's not your name?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I had a guy at work who called me Clyde for 3 years.
See?
And finally, one day I said, why do you call me Clyde?
Mhm.
He goes, oh, I thought that was your name.
See, even though he see your name, but he in his mind called you Clyde, right? So using that as an example, people are going to call you certain things for different reasons. A, they don't respect you, or B, they want you to engage in the conversation so that you can prove their point, not that they want to be heard or understood.
Yeah, they
See?
always look for that slip up. So they say,
Always.
see?
Yeah. See, look
Mhm.
at you. Look at you. You don't like men, or you don't like women. You don't like men that want to be, or whatever the case it is. No, that's not it. But then we have to understand we all have different emotional bandwidths. And by knowing that, like me, I have a huge tolerance for compassion.
Mhm.
Okay. But I have a very short tolerance for ignorance. So I don't engage in a lot of ignorance because one of the most important, well, the only, to my mind, important currency out there is time that we cannot get back. So if I think about it, if I'm going to spend 5 minutes talking to an idiot, how is that going to change my life in the next 5 years? Oh, it's not. So why am I indulging in conversations with an idiot for 5 minutes when it's not going to matter?
Exactly.
That's
Exactly. Yeah, this is to my point though. With men, you are hit with all those labels.
yes.
You're already told you can't show your feelings.
Yep.
As much as I hate to bring it up, then there's the racism thing, and
Yeah.
it's like, look, I have no problem with my neighbor. I don't
Mhm.
care if he's Jewish. Big deal. I don't care. I don't care if my neighbor is Hispanic. Whatever.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not going to go out there and do the salsa dance or whatever. Doesn't mean that I'm
Right.
against it. I
I
just
get
don't
it.
want to do it. I mean, this
Yeah.
is just an example.
No, I get you.
So don't call me a salsa phobe or whatever because I don't want to do the dance.
Oh, listen, I get you, brother. You know what? Oh my goodness, this is good. And so individuals that operate out of emotions do things out of emotions to get a response, get a emotional response. So, for example, like, hey, let's just bring it down to basics.
Mhm.
If your favorite, what's your favorite color?
Black.
Okay, yours is black. All right. Let's say mine is gray,
Mhm.
or let's say mine is blue. Can we agree that those two different colors are colors? Okay,
Exactly.
right. As soon as we get into the semantics of why that is better than my color, then we have problems because we're dealing with our natural emotions we want to voice why. But if we truly think about it, your why is your why. Your feelings are valid to you, not to
Mhm.
me. And it's okay. You see, but we have to take time to take a step back and say, how much do I want to engage in a conversation of damn crayons? No, seriously. So you see, so that's when you put it at a strategic view. You're like, wait a minute, this is really stupid. But you don't demonize them for being silly. You look at yourself, say, hey, self, and then answer yourself, what's going on? Do you see what you're doing? Yeah, I'm having a conversation with an idiot. Wait, but it's two of you. So who's the real idiot? Got it. Then you have that conversation with the individual outside of yourself and say, you know what? I have an appointment to go and walk my fish. We can have this conversation next year, right on, and go about your business. That's all it is.
You remember in Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi said, "Who's the bigger fool, the fool or the fool that follows him?"
Boom. There you go. You see? And so what happens is we can, because of society, because of social media, just media, period, we can get mind screwed.
Mhm.
We can truly get mind screwed and have to defend ourselves. We don't really have to. We really don't, because individuals are going to have a picture of you in their mind regardless of what you say.
Exactly. I don't spend a lot of time on social media
Good.
for that very point. I
Yeah.
mean, I do get on there to post about
Yeah.
the show and all that, but
Mhm.
I don't like to engage on social media.
And it's toxic. But you know what? Social media is just an avatar of real life. Right?
Mhm.
That's all it is. People say social media is bad. No, guns are bad. No, it's the people that's using those things and their intentions behind it. You know
Same
what I
thing.
mean? So listen, a gun does not wake up in the middle of the night and say, you know what? I want to walk around and just shoot people.
Mhm.
No, it's a tool, right? It is a tool. And so just like the social media, no, it's your responsibility to make sure you filter out certain things. And you know what? And just going to inject this. There are certain individuals in my family that if it wasn't for blood, I would not connect with. And it's okay. You see? But I know that I can compartmentalize them. So we have to do that to the same things that's interrupting our definiteness of purpose. And sometimes it's Facebook.
Yeah. It's like saying I'm going to blame the fork for why I'm 100 pounds overweight.
Yeah. See? Look at the fork. You see what I'm saying? It's the tool. You can't blame the tool. Blame the fool that's using the tool.
Thank you. It's just,
You know?
that's what we've been trying to advocate for years. Is you're not going to blame the car if you get into an accident. You know, it's because of either you didn't maintain it or you just don't know how to drive it.
And that's it. That's it. But see, that then we go back to the accountability piece. People don't want to hold themselves accountable. You see, you don't want to, the person don't want the question of, hey, do you even know how to drive? You see what I'm saying? The other person is the problem. The car is the problem, right? Let's say I woke up late and I'm in a rush to go to work. I'm upset because a train is stopping traffic. It's the train's fault that I'm late for work. No, dummy. I woke up late, right? And I'm
Exactly.
upset because everyone around me, I'm saying everybody's driving slow. Actually, they're driving the speed limit. I chose to wake up late. I chose not to wake up late. I chose not to hold myself accountable to make sure I was on time so that I did not have to rush. And so that, and also too, I chose not to create a buffer for issues like a damn train coming. See, because if one train can cause me to be late, that means I was still late in the beginning. You see? So, but to your point, different things in life. Let's say we can talk about the guns, we can talk about social media, we can talk about anything. We are the captains of our ship. And sometimes we don't know how to delegate those those individuals that's in our boat. You know what I mean?
Social media could be a great tool if people are using it right instead of all the garbage that's on there.
Yeah,
You know?
you know, you're right. But you know, I tell you this about social media. Even though it is a lot of crap out there, it's a lot of good out there. So looking at the balance of life, we actually need the crap to help those that are looking so that they can differentiate between the crap and crystal. You see? You see, we do need it. Even though we don't like it, it's necessary. It's a necessary evil. We need that. It's a balance, really. It really is a balance. So if you think about it, how interesting would it be if everything on social media made sense? Think about it. How interesting would it be if someone just knew who you were and gave you those positive affirmations every day? You would not have really much to give you the resilience to keep pushing forward or to have conversations like this.
That's true. That's true.
So sometimes we need the crazy. Right? We need it.
Well, I like it when let's use what brought us together as an example. You know, I put up a post and like, hey, I'm looking for guests to be on the show. Boom, you answered, and here we are. We're having this conversation. That's a wonderful one. Getting in contact with people you haven't seen in years. That's a great way to use it. And you know, it's healthy to have conversations and even maybe a little bit of an argument from time to time, but it's the name calling and all that other garbage that I can't stand.
Yes, brother, I'll tell you this, to your point, we can do things respectfully. That's the difference. That's the difference. The debate is fine because we're different, right? I'm from Detroit. Where are you originally from?
I am from Texas, outside of Houston.
Okay. Geographically, culturally, and all thingsily different. However, how can we have a conversation to bring our commonalities on the same plane? That's what some individuals don't want to do. It's, if you don't think like me, you have a problem. And because you don't think like me, now I'm going to label you. See? But that takes a certain level of maturity and understanding that some people operate out of ego.
Yeah. And how many years did people fight to not be labeled?
How many years are people still fighting?
But yet they're trying to label us again.
Dang. Some things. So, I mean, brother, some things is not worth the fight.
That's true.
You see, it's really not, because if you have two hands, okay, if you have two hands and someone on one side, you can fight them, but you're distracted. The real issue is in front of you, and you only have one hand to focus on that. And now you're split. You see, those individuals are going to continue to do what they do because of who they are. They are needed, but they're not necessary for our destination. See, they're needed. It's like an ecosystem. I don't know why there are roaches in the world. I don't know. However,
that's what we were arguing about the other day. Why the hell do we need these things?
Right. And who knows? But there's some individuals that truly know. And once we understand that, we can take a step back, say, oh, okay, well, I personally don't like roaches. I could care less. But right, there's a purpose for those little things, you see. So,
Right.
and maybe it's a part of our ecosystem. I do believe that there is some negative energy out there that is necessary for our ecosystem to keep individuals like us having conversations like this, for individuals that want to hear those type of things, this type of dialogue.
And what I hate too is when you have to kind of watch your words and what you're saying, because it seems like you're always being accused of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to have an open conversation with no judgment. I actually had a life coach that came on my show. And after the show was over, I said, can we have an open conversation? No judgment. You tell me your thoughts. I was just maybe a couple of sentences into it, and they hung up, didn't want to talk to me no more. And it was an honest question, and I wasn't trying to insinuate anything. I just wanted an answer. And well, how are we supposed to fix any problems if we can't have a conversation?
Well, brother, it goes back to understanding your audience. Not everybody want to hear what you have to say, and it is okay. Right? And I know that sometimes, based off of our intentions, we may want to drop seeds, but we may not be the one that is there to water it, and we may not even enjoy the shade. Okay, but we're there for a purpose. And I believe as long as we know that we're there for a purpose, we may not understand it at that time, but it's okay. For example, my wife, a long time ago, we were driving around and we saw a homeless guy. All right, not too far from the home. Homeless guy had a sign up, hungry and homeless. Okay. She said, you know what? Let's go back home and I can make him some, make a meal for him, right? Just a bag meal. So she put she made a ham sandwich, a bottle of water, some chips, and some little candy that was left over, I believe, for Halloween. And so we went back and we saw the guy, and he was on a corner that was by a stop sign or stoplight. She gave him the bag. He says, thank you, God bless you. He took the bag. We're still at the stop sign, this intersection. She watched him, looked through the bag, picked up the bag of chips, the bottle of water, put everything back in the bag, and he set it down and picked back up his sign. So my wife got offended. She says, I can't believe that. He just put it down like it wasn't nothing. And then so we had the conversation. I had to tell her this. Listen, dear, your intentions were to give him something to eat. What he do and when he do and what he does with that food is his business, not yours anymore. You need to release that. You don't know if he's stocking up for the rest of the night, right? You're worried about what's in it, but he's more concerned with having enough. So if your intentions was to make this lunch, if you will, this bag lunch, and go about your business, sometimes that's all we have to do. You see? So that little illustration is what I had to incorporate when connecting with certain people. You see, not everybody's going to pick up what you put down at that time, and we don't wake up to the same alarm clock. Some people are still hitting snooze in their mid 40s and 50s, still hitting the snooze button. But then you have other individuals that had different situations going with life and say, wait, I get it now. I get it. You see?
And, you know, to say point, when we've given people money, that kind of thing, because God put it on our heart to do it.
Yeah.
We did what we were supposed to do.
That's
What
it.
goes on after that is, it's really none of my business.
Right. That's right. Absolutely. Like, for example, I had individuals in my family that were, had substance abuse. And it wasn't necessarily about giving of money because I knew what they were going to do with it. The most important thing that I had to realize is that they needed to know that if I gave them money or not, that I still love them. That I still love them, and I don't care what you do with it because it's your life. However, certain things I'm not going to contribute to anymore. So if I was to give you $10 now, I'm going to give you $10 worth of McDonald's.
Exactly.
You see, or I'm going to give you some candy or whatever the case it is, right? Or maybe a bus ticket, but I'm not going to give you tangible money, currency, right? Because I know that there's a vice that you're dealing with. But even with that, within the giving, you need to understand that it's coming from love, and I still love you regardless of what you're doing with your life. And I'm not judging you, right? I can't, like I said earlier in this show, I'm not equipped to judge you. And not just that, it takes too much damn energy. I got a daughter, right? I'm trying to do podcasts and everything. For me to judge and worry about another person that is not directly connected to my genes, then I have a management problem. Right? I'm worried about the wrong thing.
Well, if you're like me, the focus is on your family and trying to make a better world. The whole point of of my show is to convey some kind of inspiration and motivation to someone out there who may not feel like there's any hope.
Yes.
And that builds a better world, and then that leaves a better world for my family.
That's it.
Because I mean, let's face it, probably 20 years from now, I may not be here, but my children will be here, my grandchildren will be here.
Legacy.
We have to get past what the garbage on social media says. It's already been proven. I think they said it's like 13% of all the loudmouths on social media are just exactly that, 13%. That's it.
That's
The majority of people, they just, like you and me, you live your life, I live my life, and I can prove it because I can go to the store right now. I don't care what color, what religion, what gender you are. I can have a complete conversation with somebody, no animosity between us. But yet, if you listen to that 13% of garbage on social media, you think it can't happen.
And it would become a rabbit hole.
Exactly. I've said this time and time again. I am not a prejudiced person. Some of my best friends are Houston Texans fans.
You see, and there you go. And I mean, I think that one of the most important things is understanding that we're all connected to the same source, right? We all breathe the same air, right? And if you can focus on the basics, everything else, the different shenanigans and the isms become very futile, right? It's small. It's really small because we're really not here that long on the grand scheme of things. So how much time do you really want to spend dealing with someone that is truly confused about their natural being in life? Right? That's for them to decide and for them to deal with. That's not my vice anymore, nor was it ever, you see. But until we raise our own level of awareness, we're right there with them.
Well, I'm glad you're doing that podcast because more men need to know that they have people backing them up.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for this too. This was outstanding, right? And wherever it is, wherever and however I can help share this and share your message, man, this is good. And it's necessary too, right? Because if individuals only listen to a certain type of podcast, they will start to think a certain way. So once you widen your aperture, you will see that there's things that you can jive with and things that you can't, but ultimately make the decision that's best for you and where you're trying to go. And the unfortunate part is that some individuals like the mess. You see,
They're addicted to it.
they like the drama and all this other mess, right? Because and what it is, in my opinion, again, it's another distraction for them to hold themselves accountable. They rather look at somebody else's bull and say, "Oh, you see what they're doing? Judge, 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 judge."
Mhm.
But then you haven't changed your own diaper.
And what are some of the most popular TV shows? It's those reality shows like the Jersey
There
Shores
you
and
go. Yep.
Kardashians.
Housewives. Yeah. All of that
It's all
drama.
garbage.
All drama and garbage, right? And what it is that it causes us to take time away from things that truly matters. That truly matters. And then the other part is individuals utilize those TV shows as the new moral compass, right? I
Mhm.
need what they're doing, right? I need to live my life like that, even though it's television, it's entertainment. So even the oxymoron is reality TV. You cannot have reality and TV in the same sentence. That's stupid.
It's
So,
not.
right. So for you to think that that is reality, they already got you. They got you. So now you're going to try to act, um, walk, or even talk a certain way based off of something that you've seen on TV that was scripted, and now you're part of that script, and now you've been duped and don't get it. You see?
I actually did a pilot for a reality show.
Mhm.
And even though and they call it unscripted because it's really not scripted per
Correct.
se.
Right. Right.
You
It's
get your
none.
own,
Yeah.
it's your own dialogue, but you'll
Mhm.
do the same thing over and over and over again.
Mhm.
So yeah, how many times can you walk into a freaking door or drive into a parking lot?
See? 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 Exactly. Right. Just to create a narrative.
So if they made a reality show about you, what would it be called?
Boy, if they made a reality show about me, it would be called 415.
415?
That's right, 415. I wake up every morning at 4:15 without an alarm. And I just go try to make the day and the world a better place by utilizing my natural gifts.
Wow. I wasn't even in the military and I wake up around that time
You
every
see,
day.
yeah, you know, yeah, 4:15, and it would be something to watch.
Well, you know what? It's just been a wonderful conversation, man. And you made me comfortable and felt like I could be open with you.
Yeah,
And I think men need more and more of that. And like you said, the women, there's all kinds of empowerment for women stuff out there. Y'all do y'all's thing, but men need to know they have somebody that's got their back.
correct.
We all
Absolutely.
need to know we have somebody we can lean on.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's not conditional, you know, it's not conditional. You have to do this in order for me to give you that. No, because if you think about it, I can't take this with me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I can't take this with me. So Denzel Washington said you will never see a hearse following, no, a U-Haul following the hearse.
Exactly.
You'll never see it. So if there's something that I can do to help enrich in someone's life, what am I holding on to it for? You know what I mean? I can't do nothing more with it. I'm already here. So now let me just give it. So no, but thank you for this opportunity, man. It's been great.
It's been my privilege. And I want to mention again about the veterans advocacy. Our goal is to get enough money that we can get a building that we're going to have. Uh, the downstairs is going to have for medical, for mental help, for substance abuse, and we want to have a little store down there that we can have donations and people come in, I'm talking about the people that's going to be housing there, that they can come in and, buy a nice suit or something and only pay a couple bucks for. We want to provide as much as we can for them. The place, they're going to have a place to stay. Somebody that I was telling this to, they said, yeah, you need to make sure that they're not on drugs and all that when they come in. I'm like, no, that's not fair.
Mm-mm.
I said that the whole purpose for doing this is to help them. And how can they focus on getting off of these substances if they have to worry about where am I going to live and where am I going to get my next meal and all that? And we need to help our veterans. They trained them to be like attack dogs for all those years. And then when they come home, they're expected to turn it off. And that's not fair either.
Correct.
So that's our goal. Listen to the show. You'll hear some of the veterans come on and tell their stories. And it's heartbreaking, the red tape they have to go through to get help.
It is.
We need to make it easier for them. Do you have a website, right?
Yes, I do. So my website is SethTheSpeaker.com, or the book is theblackcollarmindset.com.
Okay. And what about social media?
Social media everywhere at Seth the Speaker, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of that. And I post not just things like this where I'm going to be speaking at, but also different ways that individuals can connect with me or just get a word of encouragement.
That's awesome. And how often does your show come out?
So the Lion's Den with Seth is every Sunday. Those are live, but the Healed is going to be live every Saturday come October. So now I'm a batch, episodes right now. So they're available now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I have some shows that's available now, but the ball is rolling and rolling. Individuals want to be on now. However, not everybody that has something to say can say something. You see? So conversations need to be vetted a little bit before they just get on and start promoting things that's not, in line with where we're going. So, yeah. But yeah, come October, it will be every Saturday morning.
Okay. I'm going to put those links in the description so people can click on it and go straight to it.
Awesome.
Man, I really, really do appreciate your time in this conversation. And I wish you nothing but blessings and that you'll be able to help some folks out there.
Hey, likewise, Clyde.
Don't call me Clyde now.
Right. No, I appreciate it. No, thank you. This was dope. Thank you.
Well, you can call me anything, just don't call me late for supper, right?
I heard that.
Well, I want to thank all of y'all out there. If you happen by here and this is your first time, thank you for that. And please subscribe. For my regulars, thanks for that support. It's because of you I get to do this, and let's keep the communications open. We need to be able to talk to one another. We're never going to solve anything if it's us against them. That shouldn't be the way it is. So until the next one, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network